here.
We're here, and the sun is shining.
Beautiful.
In this deep midwinter magic. Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
Me too. I love it. Hopefully the sun is shining on you wherever you are.
I hope so too, because it has certainly been a very wintry winter. But
Yeah.
we were sitting here talking about all the messages that you receive in the quiet of winter, and then it sparked a conversation about listening to, the subtleties of what Earth has to offer, the elements and the animals and the weather, and
Approaching the world with like re-enchantment.
yes,
Because it's already full of magic, but we forget. So that sense of re-enchanting the world really that comes to our childlike wonder and listening in realizing that everything's alive, or in choosing to interact with the world as though it's alive and full of messages. And that we're part of it in this really cool way.
I think about when I'm outside and I'm like gardening or like doing yard work, and I'm always like, "Hi, little buddy." Every little thing that goes by.
Oh my god, I do the same
Yeah.
thing. That's
What kind of weird guy are you? And like a bug, and I love it so much.
I'm like, isn't it wild that I've been alive this many years and out in the garden and I've never seen a spider like you before?
Yeah,
Right.
I know.
It's very cool. Yeah. And today while I was walking this beastie, which is one of the wonderful things about dogs, even though we were just talking about how I don't really like getting licked by you, but I do love going for walks with you because you get me out of a day. That the river is so frozen over today that down in the river valley it's completely silent. And then the sun came out, and I just stood and listened, and all the birds that I haven't heard for the last month or two are like, some of them are coming back, I think, already, even though it seems so early. But I definitely heard a cardinal and then the woodpeckers. And the woodpeckers is what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
In the Animal Speak book, once I read this once, every time I hear a woodpecker, it's this pause and invitation to like what does I have an opportunity to shift between realms, because one of their meanings is like being the drumbeat, but like drumbeat on the veil between the realms. So that's an example, I guess, of what we're talking about. Just I hear that, and it instantly brings me into a different state of being, where I'm listening in a different way and wondering, oh, what were my thoughts just doing? Do I have an opportunity to shift here? So I actually had like a real like healing little walk where I was catching myself in a loop and heard the woodpecker, and that like shifted my thinking. So yes, thanks to the woodpeckers and thanks to the alive world.
I know, and even if I do pay attention to my thoughts, because I feel like that's how you learn the messaging, right? It's like, well, what was I thinking about? What was I percolating on? What's going on in my life right now? How do I want to receive this message? Because we're living beings and energetic beings in an energetic space. And while we have a human experience, there's so much more happening. And I do feel that nature speaks and Mother Earth speaks and the weather speaks. And, I know I've stood outside in my backyard, in an evening where I'm just like needing some clarity or just needing a breath. And then you like feel the wind pick up around you and you're just being like held by the wind for a minute. And it's like, okay, right. Yes. It's not just about this, this is the video game. I'm playing the video game. So like, what's the bigger message? Where's the soul message in this? And I feel like when you do pay attention to spirit through animals and nature, you do receive those messages with more ease.
Yeah.
Right? But it takes time also I do have people ask, well, how do you know that it's a message? And I'm like, you do have to learn to trust too. Right?
Yeah, that's true. You do have to learn to trust. And it could be as simple as if you see, just being open to noticing, and say if you see a beautiful eagle or a beautiful hawk that you notice, then if you're not familiar at all with the language of animals and stuff like that, I mean, we ultimately don't need a book or Google to look it up, but it is fun.
Oh, yeah.
It is fun to go home or be on your phone later and be like, okay, what is the spiritual meaning of seeing a red-tailed hawk? And then just starting to Add to your magical mental library or your like symbolic dictionary of tools that you then over time develop your own meanings of like, okay, I see the hawk and it means this for me, right?
I completely agree because yes, you can Google it. It can feel good to, I guess, be validated by some message that you read, but it really is about you. So what does it mean when you see a crow? What does it mean when you find a feather? What does it mean, you know, when you watch the sunset or, you know, when you see a certain star constellation or, you know, when you hear sounds, it's like you have to have that specific language.
Yeah.
I did love that I was seeing coyotes like everywhere for probably most of the fall up until a couple weeks ago when I saw a couple, like a little coyote couple. They were beautiful. And I had like read different things about it, but one of the things that I read was like not taking life too seriously because they're kind of like the jokester.
Yeah, the trickster energy.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, like that is actually, like I was glad that I read that message because that actually did resonate with me. I was like, maybe I do take myself too seriously sometimes. Like maybe I should just like lighten up a little bit. Not easy for this Jupiter and Virgo in my fifth house, but that's a whole other conversation for me to be lighthearted. But it did, it hit. Yeah.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you say something that hit you, you're like, okay, what is this meaning? Any message that you read, you're meant to read and to see if it resonates with you.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't resonate with you, you don't have to take it.
Mm-hmm.
And if it does, then that's wonderful. It's another way that you can
Mm-hmm.
like open up to that messaging. And then this actually just popped into my mind of like what you. There is a bit of mind training that goes into this too, because we just had this conversation too about like if you see a dead bird or something and that automatically thinking it must be something bad. So the way that you immediately interpret messages out in the world might be an opportunity to look at your belief systems as well. Because do you believe that the world is loving and responsive and alive with magic and communicating with you? Or are you nervous system level, like anxious and looking for signs that something bad is coming?
Yeah.
And those are very different ways of being in the world, right? Oh, for that, or train our beliefs about receiving messages too.
Well, do you think that a crow, like some people are like, well, I don't like crows, they're bad. I'm like, well, who says they're bad?
Right.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
or a black cat, for instance, although some people still believe in that, right?
Yeah.
And we were discussing that I had an owl that hit my car. It was in the evening, and I was actually going to go spend a night at my dad's house the day after that I had sold my dad's house, and it was the last night I would be in this like childhood home. So the owl hits my car, and I was like devastated. And of course, at first I'm like, well, what does that mean? You know, I was like, it was feeling like I was in a negative place or like a sad place. So it felt like it should be a sad message. And then speaking to someone who I trust, and I was reiterating the story, and he had said, you know, like hitting the owl was an accident, but the owl spirit wanted to be with you. And that's why you saw the owl. You got to hold the owl. And I was like, oh, right. It doesn't have to be this dark thing, right? So yeah, you do have to learn your own, what your own walls are against hearing something, right?
And we, in a way, we are reclaiming a way of being in the world that's so ancient. Because, I mean, we might be babies at this right now, but it's something worth remembering. And that if we didn't grow up in a culture, if you didn't grow up in a family where there was the sense of the world is alive and speaking to you, and we do have to relearn the language if we choose, if we want to, right?
It's a fun practice too if you do use like oracle cards or tarot cards and you are seeing symbolism out in the world repeatedly to see if it does show up, you know, in your other work. Because I do find that you'll have that translation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and you could even play with, okay, I keep on seeing this message and pull a couple cards on it, right? And see if that resonates or feels right. I've definitely, like, I ended a relationship because of an animal visit once. we tell
I'll tell those stories, yeah.
It was like, it was I was very new into dating somebody and who kind of seemed to say all the right things, but I didn't have any, like, I wasn't sure that what was being spoken was really embodied, you know? And I had this weird little feeling. So this is winter solstice. This was awesome too because it was a very interesting time. Winter solstice, like 3 or 4 years ago, 4 years ago, and I was like, okay, well, it was one of those classic. On paper, it looks like this, but I'm not really sure I'm feeling it. So I asked Spirit to show me a sign if my intuition, which I should have just trusted in the first place, but whatever. If my intuition was on, that there was something off, right? And literally on my way home uh, that night, an owl flew across the windshield, like so close. And I knew it was like, okay, that's like seeing through the veil, that's seeing in the darkness, that's like feminine intuition being like the thing that actually sees the truth. And then as that message was landing, literally in the next instant, a huge buck, ran the opposite way across the road. So I had an owl go like this, and then the buck go like this across. But like I was still processing the owl, so it was really, it was very intense. And I was like, okay, and when you know and you trust, you make the action. So I literally left a message that night. I'm like, the universe spoke, and I trusted it, and it was definitely the right move. And it turned out that yeah, it had been somebody who kind of like researched my Facebook and knew how to say the right things about like having done the Course in Miracles or this or that, but it's all complete bullshit, which is so fascinating. And I needed to go through that as an initiation of like, no, I do know, and the animals is one of the ways that I do receive like information. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I was thinking about Frankie, obviously. So there was, I mean, some dark days in the past that I will bring up for all of us collectively.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I was just feeling so detached from the world. And then it was winter as well. And I was looking outside. I always put food out for the crows because I do like to have my little crow friends. And there was a young fox that was trying to eat the eggs I'd put outside, and he was hurt. And so slowly, I started establishing this relationship with this fox. Frankie was what I named him. But we had like every day together. So he came every day. It was like, I would be like, there's no way this is just a fox. Because I needed something, and just to have that reminder that there was like beauty in the world in a time when it felt like that wasn't actually true anymore. And to just know when I would come home, he would be like sitting on the deck waiting for me, or I'd drive home from the shop and he would be like running through the ditch. So he knew when I would get home, so he'd be like running through, I could see him, and he just would be in the front yard. I'd garden and he'd lay in the, in the shade and watch me. And we had such a beautiful relationship, but he also taught me so much about love and the impermanence of love. And like, as an anxious person, you do tend to want to keep the things that you love close to you, and there's a fear of loss. And it's like everything in this world is impermanent, and love is one of the greatest gifts that we get to have as human beings. And we know that animals love, but obviously we don't have the verbal communication that our intellectual minds need as human beings. We like to have conversations about feelings, right? So you have to trust that this being has emotions, and also that you can love something today, and that if it leaves tomorrow, it doesn't mean that love doesn't exist anymore. Oh, this is just so beautiful. My sweet Frankie.
Yeah, that's such a beautiful story. He came to heal you, but yeah, also he needed you to heal him.
And I like looking at him and like making eye contact with him. We were good buddies, and I loved it. And all the little animals that I do have a very close connection to animals. It is part of how I communicate energetically, and any little hurt animal, and get to hold them till they can like fly off, and it's like, yeah, it feels really good. It feels good. I do feel like Snow White sometimes.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You're absolutely. You got that kind of Disney princess thing going on.
But it is a beautiful thing, and I dream of him, and I do notice when I see a fox like now, I do recognize that that is like a remembrance, like that's a message from that energy that him and I had together. And yeah, I mean, really, nature does want to support us. Like we are just as important to nature as nature is to us. And it's kind of like that. Oh gosh, that one book, I can't remember what it is, but essentially like everything has a vibration, and as you learn to communicate, like your whole world opens up. Like talk to your plants, and talk to the earth, and talk to the trees. Like I mean we both talk to the trees and notice.
That's been in Earth Keys to the Living Library.
Yeah.
And stuff. It's like eventually, if we're open to it, it'll take us an hour to like lock a meter because there's just so much potential information and communication of every little insect. But we've had to kind of shut things down to be, get different kinds of things done in this world. We need to also not forget that part.
And then you're not alone.
Never. Yeah.
Because you're communicating with the spirits of everything around you. So you don't have to be in isolation. It's nice to have human contact, but if you're feeling lonely or your heart is, feeling sad or broken, you can go outside and you can actually have so much support and so much healing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, Patty?
While the animals cycled around us.
Patty.
Never mind all the communication you get with your household.
Yeah.
Animals or homestead animals, I can't even,
No.
so much. But, yeah. The birds and the frogs. And, as we say in this house, cats and dogs and pollywogs.
I love it.
And all the magic all around.
So yeah, as we enter the turn of the wheel next week, and the eclipses, it's like this is the opening, right? I think everyone's favorite. I always love. Everyone's like, "There's a cardinal. It's my grandma." I'm like, "There's a lot of grandma cardinals, but it's always first of all, a male cardinal, always." And it's always someone's grandma. And I'm like, sure, I can get behind that.
Sure.
But as the veil is, thin, for the next, actually, I would say, starting now, really till, the middle of February, even the end with the second eclipse, it's like this time period, this is when, nature can communicate with you, and it can be from, beyond the veil. It sounds so romantic, but really like, relatives, ancestors, spirit guides, this is when the messages can come in. So it's a really great time to practice that in ritual and in everyday.
Love that. Yeah. And we have our Imbolc midwinter ceremony next Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 on the actual portal day at 15 degrees of Aquarius. So you can join us from anywhere in the world, and we'll have the link here. And we will ritualize this together.
That's right.
And welcome back the spark.
Yes. I'm ready.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Excited.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.